Biafra. This is Biafran Liberation Army Network coming to you again. Please do subscribe, like, share, and comment. This one will interest you. I know you will listen to this from the beginning to the end to hear what Uchechi Kano, the wife of Mazi Nnamdi Kano, is saying concerning Ifeanyi Ejiofor, Mike Ozokume, Nnamdi Kano himself, and of course, she talked about our Prime Minister, but she said she will not mention them today. We want you to hear and react after listening to her. She said a lot, a lot. She has bottled a lot, but today the thing poured out on Radio Biafra, and some good people just, brought out her voice to tell Biafrans this is what Uchechi is saying. This is Uchechi's stand. This was Uchechi's advice to Nnamdi Kanu, and this was Nnamdi Kanu's action afterwards. Now, listen to her. I want you to get to the end of the video, and there you will hear my voice again. Let's go there.
Oh, what does Onyendu's wife say about it? What is she saying about it? Can she do something about it? No, my answer is or was no and is no, because I want to make something clear. Excuse me. I only have the authority to make a decision or to appoint a legal representative to represent my husband if I realize that my husband is abandoned or has been abandoned by the legal representative in an unprofessional manner and feed Biafrans and myself with lies, as the case was in 2015. I know I mentioned in the past I'm writing a book, and everything, like I said, that has ever happened between myself in my life, ever since I got married to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, will be found in the book. Is the book that even people all over the world are looking forward to reading, because it tells you about the art of surviving. It tells you that living is an art. So it is about me, it's about my life, but it teaches a lot. It teaches the spiritual part of things, and it teaches the psychological part of things as well. It is very educative. Anyway, so all of that will be found in the book. So in 2015, I had to make that decision because Onyendu was incommunicado, and I realized that I needed to take that action. And I swung into action and took that decision. Now, when Onyendu came out in 2017, his business with Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor, it was between the two of them. My job was done and dusted. So Onyendu gave Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor a different brief entirely. So it was Onyendu this time around. So I have no business with the continuous representative of Onyendu by Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor. So my answer to that was that no, Onyendu has the right to choose who represents him, as it is his right. Okay. So that is my answer. But when I had this conversation with Onyendu, in all fairness to Onyendu, I am trying now to make everybody to understand what happened. In all fairness to Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is and was against the attacks on Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor and SAN Chief Professor Michael Zokeme. He was against it. Now, there is a certain person who counters every decision that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu makes. I will not call his name today, but if he continues to behave like an imbecile, I will call his name. and he will have to answer to Biafrans what actually happened. These rascals issuing these attacks disobeyed the instructions of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He instructed them to stay their slandering tongues, filled with lies and imputing fingers, but they disobeyed him. So nobody should actually fault Mazi Nnamdi Kanu because he is in detention. He can't actually do much from where he is. So a certain person is using this opportunity, which I don't understand what his gain is, what he hopes to achieve. If this is just when he has just woken up from sleep to run a business, I don't know, to run freedom fighting organization, I don't understand. But this is not fair on Onyendu. That someone sits on the outside, create enemies, and tag them Nnamdi Kanu's enemy. Nnamdi Kanu is no enemy of Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor and San Osokeme. In fact, one of the lawyers did mention that Onyendu said when he comes out, he would go and visit Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor and Mike Osokeme. Unquote. So it is Onyendu's right to say, okay, I am not happy with this, I'm not happy with that. Stand by. There is a word called stand by, and I'm sure some of the principals in IPOB understands the word stand by. So you can say to your legal team, stand by, because I want this certain set of people to do this and do that and do that. There is something that Mazi Onyendu talked about. A certain application that was not done. But that application is evident. It is there. So who has given Mazi Nnamdi Kanu a certain application that has omitted what Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor and his team filed? That is a question. Okay? So my husband said to me, don't get me wrong, I have no problems with Chief Osokeme and Barrister Ejiofor. So this is for the people to understand. Because it was a question that, to be honest, I was not even talking about, because I have so much to deal with. So all I get is, this is what I've done. I get a report from the legal team. This is what I've done. This is what we've done. This is what your husband said. And this is our next step. And I bear it in mind. It is for my knowledge. It is for me to keep up with what is going on, just in case I go in for interviews. I had no decision whatsoever. I had no authority whatsoever to tell them what to do. Okay. So when he said to me, I have no problem with Chief Osokeme and I have no problem with Barrister Ejiofor, that he still holds them in high esteem. However, I understood that he may have acted on that advice or on advice to take the decision to change his legal team. And I hope everyone is making a headway. I mean, you understand what I'm saying. So I understood that Onyendu may have acted on an advice to take the decision to change his legal team, which he yielded to for reasons which are not well seated with me, as the evidence, just as I mentioned a few seconds ago, is patent. Or reasons are just best known to him. Though I had equally offered my advice as his wife in that regard, I hopefully expect a better outcome in the coming time. Before I just continue, before this very time in 2021, there was a certain time that the legal team were all gathered, both the legal team, both Barrister Ejiofor and the current legal team now. And I spoke to them. And I said to them that Nnamdi Kanu is the tree that all of you have come, you're representing him. I asked this person, do you have a problem with this person? He said no. And I asked the other person, do you have a problem with this person? And that person said no. I said, that means you two can come from Barisifanye Jofo to be able to administer the things that you need to. And Barisi Jofo also needs information from you to be able to carry out his part. And they both agreed. So there is this Confucianist who is so poisonous and toxic that does not sit well with him. He wants to create division. He wants to create divide and rule. Why? Do you even understand why we're looking for Biafra? If you're behaving in this manner, do you know what Biafra means? What it will take to run it? So you find out that this is a poison spread across by, I don't know, this is sadism. I'll leave that for now. Now, I have received positive feedback as thousands of our people commended my visit to these noble men of integrity. Thousands of our people. I mean, with the event of things, circumstances, I am not able to go on social media because before you even know, I had no idea we were in May already. The time runs so fast. So I think this is where I will bring in my Chioma would have to and Barrister Ejiofor to thank them most profoundly for their thankless services and overwhelming victories they recorded in my husband's case, which I felt are not well acknowledged and appreciated for. Not well acknowledged and appreciated for. There must be a reason for one to behave when you're constantly creating confusion, when you're constantly creating chaos, when you're constantly creating poisons and imputing ill thoughts in everything and everywhere you go. You poison every seat you sit on. You poison every ear that opens up to you. You poison them. But people should actually ask you, all the people you poisoned since 2015, where are they? They followed you and they worked with you and they caused chaos. Where are they today? That should be the question the current idiots and imbeciles listening to you should ask themselves. They are nothing but pawns. So these noble giants, Mike Ozokeme and Barisifanye Ejiofor, they are not well thanked. They are not well acknowledged. They are not well appreciated for their thoughtlessness, for so much that they're putting. And this man has had his life in danger for over the years. For years, come 2015, when Ifeanyi Ejiofor came on this case, his name was announced on the radio. People were ringing him. If you go to court, we will kill you. We will do this. We will do that. We will do this. This man has endured so much. They recorded a victory of 8-count charge, struck out of 15 charges, and consequent judgment they got at Court of Appeal, which discharged and acquitted MNK. And let me lay emphasis that this said Court of Appeal judgment still resonate most profoundly till today. When we go anywhere we're talking about the Supreme Court, we're talking about the count charges, the 15 count charges, in fact, 8 struck out of 15, we're talking about the appeal, acquitted and discharged. It is by these men. So when you're going mad and running insane, you have to be careful. When did we become such humans who show no gratitude? And one thing you must understand is that in the sphere of supernatural, there are repercussions of ingratitude. And you should also know that ingratitude stems from a deeper part of your mental state. It comes from this sadness. You don't have Ojujuafo. So we must desist from this insanity. And on the current legal team, who are now representing Onyendu Mazenam Lekana, my advice is to focus on the task of securing the release of Onyendu Mazenam Lekana diligently and professionally, because when you begin to run around and gossip and tell stories and instead of you to carry out the message, you first of all go and report to somebody who tells you don't do it. I promise you, if you don't do your job professionally, you will not like the end. It's a promise. You will not like it. Pushing the case, you need to understand what you are expected to do in court and how to behave. Totally refraining from meddling in IPOB issues, all this is, engaging in unnecessary media tantrums, playing to gallery, and needless distractions, which tend to undermine the seriousness and character of this case. This is a high-profile case. And since the workload is massive, it's only appropriate that you pay attention to details and rules of the word, while order of my intervention for inclusion of experts in building up a very formidable legal team continues. Can you come into a thing like this, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu's legal team, you want to cause, you want to separate, you want division, because in the frame of things, the only person who is directly affected by Nnamdi Kanu's absence is me and his children. It's me. If you like, take it to the heavens and come down. Because Chijo, you switch off your thing, what's it called? Your phone. You switch off your social media. You go to bed. You wake up in the morning. You do the bit that you need to be. You talk to your children. You do stuff, and then you cause confusion in my husband's ability and process to be released. There is limit to what I can take. There is limit to my quietness. In fact, you should be afraid that I am quiet. That should bother you. And that brings me to the heart of the solution of Onyendu's current situation. It is evident that this is a case of political solution. But that does not mean we will allow Nigeria government to continue to bask in their impunity of disobeying court orders. To meet them, that is Barrister Aloy and his team, will continue to meet them head on, even as we have asked Binta Nyako to recuse herself. She has to recuse herself, not to allow herself be used, because in the end, Nigeria government will use her and fail her. So we will continue to ask her to review beyond all reasonable doubt or recuse herself. Howbeit, only a stupendous ignoramus will continue to feign oblivion of the required steps we need to achieving a political solution. This is a political solution, of course.
All right, this is her opinion, and I know there will be millions and trillions of reactions on this because actually she's a celebrity, but she doesn't know. People are waiting to hear what she will say. Even every media, they are waiting to hear from Mazen Amdekano's wife. But why she kept quiet all this while is what I do not understand. Even Mazen Amdekano's children, people are eagerly waiting to hear their voices so that they will hear what they have said to be able to propagate the gospel of Biafra and the gospel of Mazen Amdekano to the moon. But no, this woman did as if Mazi had no wise child that can talk. Unbelievable. Now that she has talked, you heard her. Well, I know everybody will react. Prime Minister will react. Emmanuel Oremijis will react. Ifeanyi Ejiofor will have to react. Aloy Jimako will react if he wishes to react. But the fact is that Biafra is beyond what she's talking about. Biafra is the freedom for the Igbos and beyond. And we prefer that Biafra. We must continue. Alright? And Mazi said, this person follow him. It will give you another dimension. That the so-called lawyers don't buy the idea of Simon Ekpa and that Simon Ekpa does not buy their own idea does not and will not stop Biafra from coming. Okay? Biafra is bigger than all. Of course, Biafra is for all. Yes, and that's it. I just want my people to please help us to share. Help us to like and also remember to subscribe. If you are new on this channel, please do not pass us by. Thank you once more and God bless you all.